Do you want to stop the camera briefly?
The beginning of the ark was a pretty crazy time. It's kind of like us building a ship at sea. Sometimes tumultuous waters and sometimes glorious sunny skies. But the faithfulness of God has been so consistent through it all that we're literally doing the impossible. The ark started with a powerful prayer movement where we were trying to get revival in Berkeley. And this was where he really stopped us and said, look, this isn't going to be on your brilliance and your effort and all the talents and abilities that I've given you. This is going to be my thing. God did a really divine thing where he gathered about 10 core people, and our hearts burned for 24/7 prayer. Once we started praying, word got out actually all over the nation that we were doing this, and different houses of prayer and people from Kansas City IHOP or the Justice House of Prayer, and they came for a while, and people from IHOP came for a while, and so it really built up from this core 10 to 12 to probably about 25 to 30, as Suki was saying. One of the things that I would say characterized most of the activity that we did was prophetic prayer and soaking.
Can't hold my love back from you. Can't hold my love back from you.
I would call it like a very zealous pursuit of the presence of God. We would meditate on the Word of God, on specifically His love for us, and we just lay on our backs in a room of 20 or 30 people, just laying on our backs with worship going, and we just soak in the presence of God and meditate on His love for us. And these meetings sometimes would go on for 3, 4, 5 hours deep into the night. And out of that place, we would then minister prophetically to one another, giving each other prophetic words about our life and our destiny and things that God was doing in our lives. And so it's like this really sweet time where we were just all running so hard after the Lord, and He would show up in these extremely powerful ways. The more we sought the Lord, the more we heard Him say, hey, just focus on sonship and rest. Sonship and rest. I'm not telling you to grow. I'm not telling you to seek the lost. Sonship and rest. And even though He wasn't interested in growth and we weren't interested in growth, people would find us. The like-minded would find us.
Mm-hmm. I think what was really fun about those early years, the first 3 years, we never flyered, we never did anything, but the common question was always, how'd you find us? And there was always some testimony about how people had read Sarah's book or just something. And most of our core members who came at that time all had a really fun testimony of how they came to the Ark.
And so it was like this awesome God combination of things where these people who were supposed to be at the Ark would be drawn through these God incidences or coincidences where they just come in and find us. And so we went from about 20 to probably about 40 or 50 in that time, and that's when we were in the Ark House. And the thing was packed.
Yeah, but it was hard to get a head count because we had people like up the stairs and in the kitchen and in the foyer, and we're squeezing everybody into every crevice of that house.
When we first moved to YWCA, it was the first time we actually had chairs for people to sit down and space for people to dance around.
And I think for the intercession team, this was the first time when we had to take ground and pray for all that was going on in the church, so it was a big transition for us. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just being at the house and just praying on the 3rd floor and then going downstairs for service. I think for me at the YWCA, the Braveheart service was definitely the most memorable of the services because people put blue paint on their face and we got knighted. The Braveheart service really implied that we are Bravehearts, that we're fearless and that we're not going to relent and that we're going to continue to love each other.
And that it's okay to look really silly and to some degree fit into the city of Berkeley, because I think that a lot of people were like, what was going on there?
Yeah. So we were in the space about 1 to 2 years, and then we transferred over to the Ark House for a while.
After we came from the YWCA, we all journeyed here to Living Hope Christian Center. And at that time, Pastor Benjamin and Sunny were both senior pastors, and we had an agreement to use their facility. And so we moved. And it was, once again, as ARC always seems to have, just these powerful encounters with the Lord. And it was so strong. And I remember, even for myself, like this was the place where I actually started to change and transform and be met by the Lord. And it wasn't just me, it was so many other people who stayed with us. And
Man, it's been a while. It's been 7 years. The great thing about year number 7 is that PB and Sunny have come in and they've provided an incredible amount of stability for us. We had a young group of leaders. We were doing our best to be our best, and we had our beloved Mama Vera there giving us guidance. But what we didn't have is a firm foundation of leadership and submission. And without those two components, strong leadership and strong submission, nothing of significance can happen.
The transition in having Pastor Benjamin and Sunny come was it kind of gave us an anchor. They were able to kind of ground us with good doctrine, good teaching, just a lot of really good stable things so that we can continue to be prophetic but not be unstable.
You know, when my wife and I came on board with the ARC in September of 2011, we saw the ARC as a group of highly talented, highly intelligent, young movers and shakers that had yet to make an impact upon the world, but that possessed the potential to make a tremendous imprint in our culture. And, you know, one of the things that I think marks the ARCers in my mind and heart that I've seen from the very beginning is that the ARCers are extremely resilient.
The faithfulness of God throughout the whole time is the only reason why we're sitting here today. And with all the stuff that's come against us over time, we should not be here.
We've gone through a lot of different changes with leaders coming and going and all sorts of different things, but the ARC has remained stable. The general DNA and heart of our ministry is still here, and we have seen the Lord just show up so powerfully and be so faithful to us over time, and I think that's the greatest testimony of all.
Yeah. We have a group of people that have been pursuing the Lord really hard. And, you know, in an environment like that, you see crazy signs and wonders. We've seen prophetic words that, like, hit the mark like you wouldn't believe. We've seen word of knowledge. We've seen people get healed. We've seen people get saved that happen in dramatic and cool ways. And all of that stuff is like the bang bang of God that we all love. I mean, don't get me wrong, we love that stuff. But if we're talking about the biggest miracle we are, I think Suki hit it right on the head. It's that we're still here. It's that we still have a group of people in the city of Berkeley that will give their lives, will give their efforts, will give their skills and dreams, will give everything that they are to pursuing the Lord. And after 7 years and all that we've gone through, that's a miracle of miracles. And so that's